Yep, my name is Kathryn Mitchell. I work as a spacesuit assembly engineer at the Johnson Space Center in the Crew and Thermal Systems Division, Spacesuit and Crew Survival Systems branch. So I got involved with NASA through the Cooperative Education Program back when I was a freshman in college. So to give you a little bit of background, I went to Purdue University and was studying aerospace engineering there. My freshman year, NASA came out and did some interviews for co-op positions. So I completed an interview and found out that I was given an offer to come down to the Johnson Space Center in Houston and start a co-op. So then kind of throughout school, I completed several different co-op rotations, which are similar to internships, so several internships here at the Johnson Space Center, and then was offered a position full-time once I graduated school. All right, so when I first hired on back in August of 2008, I began working on the Constellation program. So I was working on lunar suit development for that program. As NASA as an agency has transitioned away from the Constellation program and onto other things, I've also kind of transitioned and I've been doing more what you would call suit technology development. So working on future suit technologies that would get us to a suit for whatever our next mission may be, whether that's going to an asteroid or somewhere like the moon or Mars. So then specifically, looking at a couple of the areas on the suits that I've worked with, I've been doing a lot of focused work on materials research and materials work for future suits, and then also been working on a lot of glove development work, so looking at taking where we are at with the current gloves and improving those for future missions. There are several aspects of my job that really excite me and make me excited to come into work every day. One of those is just the variety of different work that I get to do. So doing a lot of development work, I feel that I'm constantly kind of on the cutting edge of what we're doing with spacesuit development. So I get to be over in our lab. We have an advanced suit development lab. Over in the lab doing hands-on work, building up new prototype spacesuits. I also am involved with a lot of test work with the various spacesuits that we have in our lab. And fortunately, we get to test the suits in several different environments. So anything from taking them out into the field, different desert locations, different field locations to test them there. We get to do testing on the reduced gravity aircraft, so looking on the reduced gravity, both microgravity and lunar or Martian gravity on the aircraft. And then also there's been opportunities to go out and do tests in the NBL, which is the Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory, or the big pool that NASA has, which they train their astronauts underwater in. So we've gotten to take suits out there and do testing there as well. So just those that variety of different locations makes the job a lot of fun. Fortunately, I get to apply the lessons I learned in school to my job almost every day, and in many different ways as well. So one of the ways is, kind of doing, straight up math work. So there's days when I'm doing calculations for something like the strength of one of the materials on the suit and seeing if it can take the structural loading that we're putting into it when doing a certain test. I also, one of the big things that you learn in all your science and engineering and mathematics classes is problem solving. So if we do have an issue with one of the suits in a test that we're doing, we go through and we troubleshoot that, and we use kind of a method where we go through, figure out what went wrong, look at ways that we can fix it, and then go on and perform future tests. So a lot of math, a lot of problem solving, and then also one of the big ones is teamwork. So I'm constantly working on teams of other scientists and engineers, so any of those team projects that I did back in school really have helped me to get along with other people, to communicate well with other folks, and get in that teamwork aspect.